Justice for MENGLONG, the female mastermind's shocking confession just revealed. The nation froze in disbelief last night when the case that has haunted millions for months finally erupted with the most shocking twist yet. The woman long rumored to be circling in the shadows of MENGLONG's mysterious death, now identified as actress Xing Fei, has officially confessed. And the truth, delivered in trembling words under the glare of police interrogation lights, has left an entire country shaken to its core. A night of confession. Inside a dimly lit interrogation chamber, cameras captured the moment Xing Fei finally broke. Her wrists trembled against the cold metal of the handcuffs, her face pale as she lowered her eyes. For hours, detectives pressed her, replaying voice notes, flashing photographs of MENGLONG's last hours, and showing her the damning evidence recovered from the USB drive revealed days earlier. At first, she denied everything. Her silence was cold, calculated, the same silence that had shielded her for months. But as the minutes ticked into hours, her composure unraveled. Sweat glistened at her temples, her breath came in shallow gasps, and then it happened. Her lips parted, and the words that millions had waited for finally fell. "It was me. I was part of it. I never thought it would go this far." The room went still. Detectives exchanged stunned glances. Behind the one-way mirror, prosecutors leaned forward, straining to hear every syllable. The tearful breakdown. As officers pressed her to elaborate, Xing Fei's carefully guarded mask shattered completely. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she clutched at her shackled hands. "He trusted me," she whispered hoarsely. "But I betrayed him. I was told. I was forced into it at first, but later I couldn't stop. He knew too much, and they said he had to be silenced. I didn't push him myself, but I made sure he was there, that night, at that building. I knew what would happen." The confession was like an earthquake. Within minutes, word leaked beyond the interrogation room. Reporters outside the police headquarters began frantically typing, broadcasting fragments of the revelation before the official statement even landed. Social media platforms exploded with a single, deafening cry. "Justice for MENGLONG." Public outrage. The confession spread like wildfire. Streets that had long been painted with vigil candles and portraits of MENGLONG now burned with chants demanding justice. Fans gathered outside police stations across major cities, holding banners splashed with his name. Some wept openly, while others shouted through megaphones. "You can't silence the truth anymore. Punish the guilty. Protect the innocent." Celebrities joined the chorus. Wang Yiba, still visibly shaken by the loss of his close friend, posted a short but powerful message on Weibo. "MENGLONG, they tried to bury your truth, but tonight it broke free. We will fight until justice is done." Tan Songyun, meanwhile, broke down in tears during a live interview, clutching Su Kai's hand as she said, "He deserved life, love, and dreams, not betrayal." To the one who confessed, I have only one question. Why? The courtroom bombshell. The following morning, crowds flooded the courthouse as Xing Fei was escorted inside. Dressed in a plain prison uniform, her once glamorous aura had evaporated. All eyes locked on her as she entered the courtroom, her face hidden behind a curtain of unkempt hair. As the judge called the proceedings to order, the prosecution wasted no time. They played portions of her recorded confession for the packed courtroom. Gasps erupted from the gallery as her trembling voice echoed through the chamber. "Yes, I led him there. Yes, I knew they would be waiting. I didn't think he would actually fall. I thought it would just scare him. But he never came back." MENGLONG's family sat in the front row, their grief raw and visible. His mother clutched a framed photograph of her son, her cries filling the courtroom when the recording played. His father stared blankly ahead, silent tears streaking down his cheeks. Flashbacks and betrayal. What cut deepest for the public was not just the act itself, but the betrayal behind it. For years, fans had seen Xing Fei and MENGLONG together at events, smiling like genuine friends. Photographs of them laughing on set, celebrating birthdays, and supporting each other's projects resurfaced online. now twisted by the confession into haunting images of deception. Netizens flooded comment sections with heartbreak. How could she smile beside him while planning this? This is the cruelest betrayal imaginable. MENGLONG gave her his trust, and she sold it for fear and greed. The hidden mastermind network. But perhaps the most explosive part of her confession wasn't just her guilt. Xing Fei revealed she wasn't acting alone. "There are others," she said in the interrogation video. "They told me what to do. They promised me roles, money, protection. I was just a piece in their game. I thought I could walk away, but they own me. They still own people now." This single statement sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Whispers of a hidden network, a circle of powerful figures manipulating stars like pawns, gained terrifying credibility. The possibility that MENGLONG's death was not just a tragedy, but part of a larger web of corruption ignited fury like never before. Fans flood the streets. By nightfall, major cities across China were blanketed with candlelight vigils. In Beijing, tens of thousands of fans gathered in front of the police headquarters, chanting "Justice for MENGLONG" in unison. In Shanghai, students projected his image onto skyscrapers, turning the skyline into a glowing memorial. Everywhere, people demanded accountability. They weren't satisfied with one confession. They wanted the entire chain exposed, every figure in the shadows dragged into the light. Celebrities speak out. The entertainment industry itself was shaken. Dozens of stars who had once remained silent now spoke out, their posts amplifying the demand for justice. Su Kai wrote, "MENGLONG was my brother. We laughed, we worked, we dreamed together. For too long, fear has silenced us. Today, that silence ends." Zhao Lucy shared, "To the mastermind who thought you could hide forever, the world is watching, and truth always wins." Even international stars joined in, turning the tragedy into a global cry for justice. The final blow. As her confession ended, Xing Fei's last words chilled everyone in the courtroom. "I can't undo what I've done. I can only hope the truth brings him peace." The judge ordered her detained pending further investigation, while prosecutors promised to hunt down every name connected to her confession. The crowd erupted, some in tears, others in triumphant chants of justice finally beginning to surface. A nation united. That night, the phrase "Justice for you, MENGLONG" became the #1 trending topic worldwide. Videos of the confession, courtroom reactions, and fan protests flooded every platform. Strangers held vigils together. Parents told their children the story of the star who never got to finish his dreams, and millions prayed that his soul had finally found peace. The case was no longer just about a fallen actor. It had become a symbol of truth breaking free, of courage rising against fear, of justice that could not be buried. And though MENGLONG was gone, his name, his voice, and his truth had finally triumphed. The interrogation that broke China, Xing Fei's tearful confession. The heavy iron door slammed shut behind her, echoing through the small interrogation chamber like the tolling of a funeral bell. Xing Fei sat across from two investigators, her wrists cuffed to the table, her shoulders hunched beneath the fluorescent light that buzzed faintly overhead. For hours she had resisted, meeting every accusation with silence or carefully chosen words. But the air in the room grew thicker with each passing minute, until silence itself became unbearable. The lead detective leaned forward, voice sharp but measured. "Xing Fei, we have your words on record. We have the files, the calls, the witnesses. But what we don't have is your truth. You can end this now, or let it end you." Her lips quivered, her eyes darting to the one-way mirror where she knew powerful eyes were watching. Her chest rose and fell in rapid bursts. For a long, agonizing pause, the only sound in the room was her uneven breathing. Then, her voice cracked through the silence. "It was me. I let him there." The words dropped like stones into still water, sending invisible ripples across the nation. The shattering moment. Her confession wasn't loud. It wasn't screamed or shouted. It was whispered, barely audible, but powerful enough to collapse the walls she had built for months. Her entire body seemed to shrink, as if relieved and destroyed at once by the weight of those 3 words. The second detective exchanged a stunned glance with his colleague. The camera on the corner of the ceiling whirred quietly, recording every detail. Behind a glass, senior officers froze, gripping their pens, while prosecutors scribbled notes furiously. "Say it again," the detective demanded, his voice firm but not cruel. "We need you to confirm, Xing Fei. Say it clearly." Her eyes glistened with tears that finally spilled down her cheeks, leaving dark trails as she nodded. "I betrayed him," she said shakily. "MENGLONG trusted me, and I betrayed him. I thought it wouldn't go so far. I thought they just wanted to scare him. But I knew he wouldn't survive that night." The cracking of a mask. For years, Xing Fei had been known as the smiling star, the darling of the screen who radiated innocence and light. But in that moment, the mask shattered completely. Her sobs tore through the room, raw and unfiltered. She rocked forward, her cuffed wrists clanging against the steel table as she whispered again and again, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." The detectives did not interrupt her. They let her break, let her unravel. The silence outside the room was deafening. Even hardened officers watching the scene through the glass felt the sting of her words, the haunting details. As the sobs subsided into broken breaths, the lead detective pressed gently. "Tell us what happened. From the beginning." Her gaze was empty, her voice hollow. "They told me to bring him there. To keep him calm. To make sure he didn't suspect anything. I was promised protection roles, money, silence. They said it wasn't my choice anymore. I thought if I just followed, I'd be safe. But when I saw him fall, when I heard the sound, I knew my life was over too." Her words painted a picture so vivid it silenced even the most skeptical officers. The room felt colder, heavier. The sound of her confession was not just an admission of guilt, but a window into the fear, manipulation, and betrayal that had consumed her life. The room freezes. Behind the one-way mirror, officers and prosecutors exchanged quick, urgent whispers. One finally muttered, "This changes everything. We're no longer chasing shadows. We have the fire itself." The news that would soon break across every screen in China was born in that suffocating silence. A star had confessed. A mastermind had unmasked herself. The emotional collapse. Her tears intensified as she clutched the edge of the steel table, her knuckles white against the cuffs. "He begged me," she whispered suddenly, her voice sharp with pain. "The night he died, he looked at me and said, 'Why are you here, Fei? You shouldn't be here.' He knew something wasn't right. But I didn't answer him. I just kept walking. And then it was too late." The room seemed to tilt. Even the detectives, trained to remain detached, lowered their eyes. What she described wasn't just betrayal, it was the cruelest twist of fate. She had been the last person MENGLONG saw before his fall. Shockwaves begin. As the interrogation continued, fragments of her confession leaked into the corridors of the police headquarters. Officers on duty exchanged stunned whispers. Phones buzzed with urgent calls to news outlets. By the time Xing Fei was escorted back to her holding cell, her face streaked with tears, the world outside already knew. Crowds began forming within minutes. Fans who had once adored her were now chanting for justice, their anger and heartbreak echoing through the streets. The words from her lips, captured on police cameras, would soon ignite the biggest storm China's entertainment industry had ever seen. The last words of the session. Before the detectives ended the session, Xing Fei lifted her tear-streaked face, her voice trembling but steady enough to pierce the room. "You can punish me. You can hate me. But don't stop with me. There are others. Bigger than me. More dangerous. If you stop here, then MENGLONG will have died for nothing." The lead detective, hardened by years of experience, leaned back slowly. "We're not stopping here," he said. "You've just opened the door. And we're going to walk through it." The silence after. When the recording stopped and the lights in the interrogation room flicked off, the silence that followed was not relief. It was the calm before the storm. The confession had been spoken. The truth had finally pierced the darkness. But outside those walls, an entire nation was waiting. And once the confession was released, nothing, not the industry, not the police, not even Xing Fei herself, would ever be the same again.